Amped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today's the 4th of April, 2022, right here in the Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands this morning, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. And I'm going to change the verbiage a little bit this time. If you know the rules of the road, please observe them. If you don't know the rules of the road, please learn them. Because whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, if you know the rules of the road and if you observe them, then the life you save may be your own. We're already hearing about at least 2 vehicular accidents this morning, and no doubt there will probably be more. I hope not, but there will probably be more, because we have people who fall into one of those, or maybe both of those categories that I spoke about before. Not knowing the rules of the road, or not observing the rules of the road. But please remember, the life that you save may just be your own. I will continue to repeat this over and over as long as I have a microphone in front of me and an audience to listen, because it is becoming a pandemic in the Cayman Islands. Driving, the bad driving, the vehicular accidents, the unfortunate loss of innocent lives as well. If you're celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you. For those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. For those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility, we wish you a speedy recovery also. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy and dangerous roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson is back with us, and she's waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534 8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at for the record, one word, for the record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. No guest in the studio yet, so we will, of course, have an open line for you to call in. I just gave you those numbers, the toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255 as well. Just to share with you some releases, this one is a public service announcement issued by the Health Services Authority, and it has to do with the flu clinic closure and updated COVID testing hours for Cayman Brac. And says here that the Health Services Authority advises the public that starting today, Monday the 4th of April 2022, the flu clinic at the Aston Radice Center location will be closed. Persons with flu symptoms can be seen at the Faith Hospital emergency room. Goes on to say that the number of flu cases have reduced as we near the end of the flu season. Therefore, the dedicated clinic will be stood down. That's a quote from Dr. Velusamy, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Director of the Sister Islands Health Services. The Aston Radice Medical Wing will still be used for COVID-19, PCR, and certified lateral flow testing. The hours of operation have been updated to the following. So the flu clinic is closing, and you, as of today, you will then go to the Faith Hospital for that. The COVID-19 PCR certified lateral flow testing will remain at the Aston Radice Center. The hours are Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. to 12 noon, I would say. 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Saturdays and Sundays, public holidays, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Certified lateral flow tests are CI $25, and pre-booked appointments can be made and paid for at www.hsa.ky/appointments. Also, PCR tests are CI $75, walk-ins for PCR and lateral flow testing available during clinic hours. COVID-19 testing is also available at the Little Cayman Clinic daily from 1 p.m. until 2:30 p.m. as well. So that's for you over there in the BRAC, all of the people in the BRAC, the information in relation to the testing. Have some other stuff we want to share with you as well. We spoke about the port last week and some of the challenges that they were facing. And on the 1st of April, the press release was issued, and it's talking about the Port Authority. Cayman Islands has today announced the appointment of Mr. Dale Christian to the post of Acting Port Director for the Cayman Islands Port Authority with effect from the 1st of April 2022. And there is also a press release and a photo more to that. I will share that with you. But meanwhile, we do have a caller, so I'm going to go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Great. How was your weekend?
Pretty good. Did some cycling yesterday. Did some yard work on Saturday. Unfortunately, yesterday, during my cycling, did Queens Highway twice. One of my cycling buddies with me He stopped in the East End, and I continued down. I got to the Frankstown Junction, and I decided to call home for a ride simply because the traffic on the road was unbearable. It was ridiculous. The dump trucks, dump trucks traveling between Pease Bay and High Rock, unbelievable. The speeds that they're driving at, unbelievable, as well as the other traffic. So I said, it's not safe for me to ride by myself. Let me just get a ride home. So I had to take 8 miles off my ride, but the life is worth that.
Well, yes. What I call NRA is having a public meeting in Bordentown on the 7th. That will be Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
At 7 p.m. at the Webster Memorial United Church Hall. Also, the police will be there. They want to, I guess, find out what is going on, what they can do, and so forth. So those that can make it in the eastern side needs to be there and voice their opinion on traffic and so forth.
Can you repeat that the date and the venue again, please?
Sure. The Webster Memorial United Church Hall. That's 261 Bordentown Road. Everybody know where the United Church is. It's on the 7th at 7 p.m. So that's Thursday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
And they will be doing question and answers as well as presenting what they have in mind.
Okay. Do you have any ideas for the District of Bordentown as far as traffic is concerned? We know that the only road, I was going to say the main road, but basically that's the only road other than Anton Borden Drive to get from the Eastern District. Yeah. And any ideas about that road there? It is so narrow. It is so busy. When you from the time you cross the police station and you're heading in through Bordentown, there's so many side roads, so many businesses. I think they really need to reduce the speed there to about 20 miles an hour, not even 25.
They should, because it's honestly, I don't know how nobody has got knocked down there yet, because you have a couple of places that I would call like the needle's eye.
Yeah, no shoulder at all.
No shoulder, and then the road narrows.
Yeah.
So they need to do something there, because very shortly, I mean, they will have the Artillery Road there, the bypass or whatever you want to call it, coming through. That is going to happen sooner or later. So I mean, people are so ignorant to speed. It can't happen to me. That's their mentality.
Yes.
When it happened, I didn't think it was going to happen. But you might not live to see that, to say that. I mean, you had an accident last night in West Bay. They cleaned 2 lines. Come on. I mean, I don't know what happened. But, I mean, it's 2 lives that are gone.
Yes.
I mean, it could have been a simple accident, as well as it could have been not paying attention. It could have been any factor. But the fact is, please, the car is a lethal weapon. It will kill.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'll sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And if I have to call, I'll call.
Thank you very much for that. You have a great day as well, and please stay safe. We have another caller, but we're going to take a commercial break. This way we don't have to interrupt that caller's train of thought. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
On November the 23rd, 1935, under the direction of Commissioner Allen Woosley Cardinal, Grand Cayman saw the installation of the first telegraph station, followed by Cayman Brac in 1936, through a joint venture with the Cuban government. The building was funded and constructed by the Cubans, and equipment paid for by subscribers and Cable and Wireless Limited. During the opening ceremony, a telegraph message was received from Governor of Jamaica, Sir Edward Denham, and the islands sent their first telegraph to King George V.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
JN Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in your hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care, close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We do have a caller who's been holding for a while. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, Lucy. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, hanging in. Yeah, man. I don't know if you noticed, you say you were riding yesterday. The sun was very hot yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It was a beautiful day. Also, I got two concerns. I don't know if you can help me with them between now and Wednesday. I would like to find out on Friday. I took a drive in town, and I passed by my usual birthplace written Church of God out in the waterfront. And I noticed that no passenger that came off that boat had a mask on. I had mine on. I was sitting in my car, but I had mine on as well. And I'm doing that to protect myself and until I feel comfortable. And I have noticed that every one of those people, and I was there probably like an hour and a half, no mask on, neither one, walking, going into the stores and everything. I want to find out why we have to wear masks here in Cayman when the tourists can come to our island while we are killing ourselves, protecting ourselves from the spread of this virus with mask on. And I'm uncomfortable with the mask on. I have issues with that. You know, one, I'm claustrophobic. Number two, I can't stand nothing over my face, but I wear it to protect myself. So I think it is fair for anybody that come into our country to wear a mask as well. I don't know if you could.
I would imagine that the tourists coming off the cruise ships, just like those tourists who arrive by air as well, are subjected to the same protocols, the same requirements as we are when entering those areas that masks are mandated, that you have to wear a mask. We're not required to wear a mask in in open space. If we're on the street, we do so by choice. I believe that is applicable also to the tourists. So that, I believe, answers part of your question. Now, when they get on a bus, I am not sure whether, I think you're still required to wear masks when you're in a bus or you're in a taxi or something like that. I stand to be corrected on that, but I will check that out. But as far as coming off the cruise ships and just being in the open, masks are not required.
Okay, that's number. But you please check it out with me by way. The number two, the next one. Okay, I spoke about a few artists on the island, local persons on the island a couple of days ago. And they were saying, there's no tourism now and the craft market is closed down. I got a lot of stuff, a lot of artwork that I would like to go somewhere and, sell it. I'm not working. I could probably make a $50 or $75 off of some tourists just passing there, and looking at our craft to sell it because we got so much we can't sell it. There's no tourism. Where could we go? Could you get an answer for that from me, please?
About when the craft market will be opened up? Is that it?
No, not about it. Not only that, is that they say that they could probably, for instance, go down by where they sell fish. A lot of tourists pass, they just stand up watching the fish, and they got their little craft work or their paintings in the car, and the tourists come there, pass in there, and see, and they could sell a little $25 or something because they ain't got no work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
well, there are several factors there. I believe that if you're doing it on Crown property, you have to get permission. If it's going to be in the port area, you would have to be authorized by the port. Also, remember, I believe that the enforcement of persons being required to have a trade and business license. Now, I'm not sure whether when the craft market is opened up, whether or not those persons who have stalls there are required also to have a trade and business license. But that may be a requirement as well. If you're on private property, you should seek the permission of the owner of that property. But I don't know, and I haven't seen anything published in relation to any, other government program that is in place at this point in time other than what has been the standard procedure. We had a caller last week speaking about the craft market and inquiring as to when that was going to be open because she believed that there were some changes, in the management of the craft market. But those persons, I would say that if they have any questions in relation to their ability to operate anywhere, that they should go with the check with the Department of Commerce and Industry on that.
Okay. Because they're all local guys. And
I understand that, but Department of Commerce and Industry, they're the authorities, they're the experts. I wouldn't want to proffer any advice here on for the record.
Okay, thank you. No problem. Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you very much, my friend, for that as well. If anyone is out there, maybe the lady who called last week, if they're aware of any changes or what's going to be happening as far as vendors are concerned. You heard last week me express my opinion as well. We knew at some point in time that we would be opening up to tourists and to cruise ships as well. I believe that we had sufficient time to have our ducks lined up, and I believe most of them have been lined up as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. This is Minister Brian.
Good morning, Minister. I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad. Doing my usual, tuning into the show.
Excellent. Thank you.
And my right-hand man, Mr. Edwin Moore, of things that are going on, particularly when it comes to my
Yes. You got to refer to him as Moose. Not a lot of people know him as Moose rather than Adlin.
Yeah, I just try to do the politically correct word. But yes, Mr. Moose, my right hand. So I just wanted to give a little update in respect to the craft market because a lot has been going on since the last month, so I haven't been able to give a press release. But as you have seen, the old location for the craft market is no longer available. And I want to take this opportunity to say thanks to the Colonel family for allowing the Cayman Islands and its artisans to use that location free of cost for so many years. But the family have decided to go in a different direction, hence the reason the lease was not renewed before the cruise came back. Hence the reason of where it is now, the current old site for the tower building.
Okay.
But it's a temporary location. As you know, we bought a waterfront property just north of Lobster Pot, where we're having plans to develop, and that would be the new location for the craft market. With that being said, I just want to let the public know that though we're going through this transition stage, there are going to be some changes because the premise upon which a craft market is developed in the first place is to give authentically made things for artisans in the Cayman Islands. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, what we have seen been allowed to creep in is things that are not genuinely made in the Cayman Islands being sold at the craft market. And it's something that I want to get under control. The premise upon which government pays and gives that free opportunity for persons who sell craft is on the basis that it's authentically made in the Cayman Islands.
Got you.
And what I've found is some of the things you find in a regular store, souvenir store, you will find at the craft market, and that's not how it was supposed to be. It is unfair for a shop owner to have to pay rent, light, water, licensing fees and all that to compete with a person that the government is given an opportunity to at a location, basically almost at free of cost, to compete with them selling the same product. It's only the taxpayers' money is only used on the basis of these things are authentically made, which shows our culture and our heritage. So we're going to do a re-examination of the criteria to be able to be at the craft market. So that when you go to a craft market, you can be comfortable to know that these things are made in the Cayman Islands and they're part of our culture. So once the new location is completed, there'll be a whole new criteria upon which persons will be able to be there. That is my intention, because we want to make sure that when a tourist or a visitor comes to the Cayman Islands, they go to a craft market, they know this is part of Cayman and what you can get from Cayman because it's authentically made in the Cayman Islands and it's part of the Cayman culture. Yes. So I just thought I'd clarify that. I know that we're not in the best location right now. We were hoping that we would have been able to renew the lease. Unfortunately, the family decided to go in a different direction. Right. So just a little heads up there for the public to know.
Sure, and where they're located at now, one of the things that the people can do out there is to steer the tourists towards that temporary location that they're in now as well. That would be helpful.
Definitely, I'll make sure that the point persons at the port can give indications or signs outside, because it was something that we had to unfortunately put together at the last minute without the renewal of the lease location. So I make sure that somebody at the port puts a sign up out front to say craft market in the direction it should be. There actually should be a sign out at the location right next to the old bakery saying the craft market, but signs on the port itself giving them direction may not be installed, and I'll make sure that is done.
Thank you very much, Minister, for that as well, and all the best to you and your family as well. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
This Easter, make it all about eating better with Foster's.
Make it easy with our all-new Easter dinners, prepared fresh by our deli team.
First, choose your main from Escovitch snapper, Cayman-style beef, maple glazed ham, and smoked jerk pork shoulder.
Then customize it with your choice of sides and desserts. Plus, every order comes with dinner rolls and coleslaw.
And the best part? All you need to do is serve and enjoy.
Order yours online from $94.99 at fosters.ky/Easter.
This Easter, make it Foster's. Better because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Police are investigating a double fatal crash in West Bay Sunday night that killed a father and his child. Just after 7 p.m., officers were sent to West Church Street near the junction of Henning Lane after the car a 32-year-old West Bay man and his 1-year-old daughter were traveling west in crashed. Fire service crews removed the pair from the vehicle and they were carried to the hospital where they were pronounced dead. These mark Cayman's 6th and 7th road deaths of 2022. In other news, the Port Authority announced the appointment of Dale Christian to the post of acting port director. Mr. Christian has worked at the Port Authority for almost 3 decades and has more than 10 years of service as a manager at the Cayman Brac Port. The Ministry of Tourism and Transport, along with the Pacey Board of Directors, thanked Elizabeth McField for her stewardship during her tenure as acting port director. And the 14th annual Butterfield Young Musician of the Year 2022 event took place at the Cayman Islands Baptist Church on Saturday. 9 talented young musicians from schools across Cayman competed for the coveted title after the preliminary competitions held earlier this year. Saturday night's event featured 5 instrumental categories: keyboard, piano, strings, woodwinds, brass, and percussion. In regional news, at least 3 people were killed in a shooting and subsequent confrontation with police Saturday at a beachside restaurant in Mexico's Pacific Coast region of Acapulco. The prosecutor's office in Guerrero State said 2 gunmen approached and killed 2 men at the beachside restaurant. Police then chased the attackers down on the beach, killing one and seriously wounding the other. Video posted on social media showed people running behind the beach as gunshots rang out. Others appeared to take cover behind tables or chairs. Beachside shootings have occurred before in Acapulco, which has been plagued by gang violence since 2006. In November, police said gunmen pulled in a boat and shot a man to death on a popular beach there. The attackers then fled in the boat. On Mexico's Caribbean coast, there was a November 4th shootout on a beach in Puerto Morelos, south of Cancun, involving a squad of armed men who left 2 alleged drug dealers dead. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has been visiting the town of Bucha near Kyiv, where it's alleged that Russian troops carried out atrocities against civilians. He again accused them of committing genocide, but Mr. Zelensky said he would continue to try to end the war through diplomatic and military means. The French President, Emmanuel Macron, has called for further sanctions against Russia, targeting oil and coal exports. He said there were very clear indications that Moscow's forces had carried out war crimes. Moscow's Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, has dismissed videos of bodies littered across Bucha as staged. President Putin has congratulated Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban after his Fidesz party won a 4th term in Sunday's election. Mr. Orban has refused to supply weapons to Ukraine and has criticised both President Zelensky and the European Union. A UN report on climate change due out later is expected to say rapid systemic transformation is needed across all parts of society to ensure that the world remains livable. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report will demand the rapid phasing out of fossil fuels as the top priority, together with a major expansion of renewable energy. Health officials in China's biggest city, Shanghai, have defended a policy that separates children with COVID from parents and other carers who've tested negative. Outrage has spread after photos on social media appeared to show crying infants left alone at a quarantine centre. Shanghai is under lockdown. Public protests have continued in Sri Lanka against the worsening shortages of fuel, food and medicines. Some of the rallies are being held outside the houses of the government leaders. Shares in Twitter have risen sharply after it emerged that the American billionaire Elon Musk is the largest stakeholders. That's the latest. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Brit-K. Good like that.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 79 degrees. Relative humidity is 92%. The barometric pressure is 29.91 inches and rising. The winds are calm. Overnight low temperature was 75 degrees. Synopsis indicate light winds and seas expected across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours due to a slack pressure gradient across the Caribbean. Satellite images show low-level clouds east of the Cayman area moving towards the west. Now the forecast for today and tonight, calling for mainly fair skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will rise to the mid-80s today and will fall to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 10:44, low tide this evening at 7 minutes past 5. The sun will set this evening at 6:39 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:16. And the outlook is calling for moderate winds and seas from tomorrow morning as a ridge of high pressure builds over the Caribbean.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Brit-K, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Brit-K. Good like that.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning, Cayman Islands. Let's take a look at what's happening on the roads. Please be extra careful as there were 2 accidents already this morning. As we look to the Butterfield Roundabout and all surrounding areas, Northside Road and coming off the Esley Tibbetts Highway, traffic steady bit flowing. Crew Road heading to Georgetown, traffic is busy, and busy traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way as well as Agnes Way off the Linford Pearson Highway. And looking towards the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is busy. Edward Street in front of the Georgetown Post Office flowing at a good pace, and Shedden Road not looking too bad as traffic flowing pretty good. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. And on Schoolhouse Road, traffic is moderate. If you see any other accidents happening on Cayman roads, give us a call here at Radio Cayman, 949-6990. Drive safe.
Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
So good. Wow. Sensational. Delicious.
Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
The Ministry of Education invites all eligible Caymanians to apply for an Education Council Local Scholarship for the 2022-2023 academic year. To apply for a local scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat Unit's website at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Saturday, April 30th, 2022.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
It's in our name. Fried chicken, it's our thing. Others may try, but we have the original. We put the extra and extra crispy. And our secret in everyone's mouth. So if we want to make the best chicken sandwich, we just need to put our name on it. New Kentucky Chicken Sandwich. An abundant triple breaded filet, premium mayo and pickles, all in a buttered brioche bun. The best chicken sandwich had to be KFC.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio yet. Hopefully, we'll have some guests at 8:30 or 9 o'clock. If not, then we will continue to have the phone lines open for you. Our toll-free number, I should remind you, is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261 as well. Okay, we do have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, we'll say good morning, man.
Hey, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes. Let me turn this down. Yeah?
Uh-huh. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I think when you really check it out with the traffic, you know, one thing that I observe, I mean, you know what? Most of our license early and early. Can't say childhood, but boyhood days.
Uh-huh.
I remember getting mine in 1967. You know.
Yep.
And most of the time that we going in the way, like out of town, it was always on the western front. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And those days, I mean, we didn't have much cars, but we had a lot of road.
That is true.
If you understand what I mean. Like,
yeah.
You know, now these days, we got a lot of cars, and we don't have no roads. Well, not enough roads, you know. So, but, you know, in traffic, I think a lot of young people these days have so much privileges that growing up, we had to work to get a car to drive.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you work to get the car, you had to be able to work on the car. Because if you couldn't work on your car, you would be in trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
And, you know, see, we got into some accidents. Matter of fact, I think you and I and somebody else was in the car. You remember that?
Yes. I'm trying to remember who it was in there. And then there was another time Buggo flipped a Volkswagen Beetle, taking me home after Domino's right in front of Rex Crichton on Crew Road there.
Right. Yeah, but...
And you remember the days when I used to work at the gas station, and after work I used to get the Vauxhall. Miss Alice and Mr. Valls, they would loan me the Vauxhall, and we'd head west.
Right.
Yes.
And I took over the gas station in 75. I don't know if you were here then.
No, I left in 67. Came back in 69 for maybe about between 3 and 6 months, and left in 1970.
Motherfucker, you that came in, I was working on some truck in town, and you came and told me something about the job at Barclays Bank, the messenger job.
Yes.
Yes. And you know, I end up spending from 6 to 6 until I think it was 68. You know, and I never forget that, man. You said go and check it out, and I went and checked it out, and I was there for two years, man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I got my license in the manager's car. Yeah, and I got extra mileage by. He used to like the car wash, and I told him it would be better to take it up by his residence, and I could deal with it there and make some extra. Wasn't dollars them days or pounds.
Pounds, yep.
Yeah, and you know that when it came for me to really buy a car, you know, get a car. I tell you, I had some really good friends that could work on cars. You know, John Nixon is one of them.
Oh, yes. Jack of all trades. trades.
Yeah. Well, he bought a personal car from Miss Joyce Hilton. And we had a pusher from Miss Hilton place to our place on Mary Street. And when we pushed the car inside, my old lady came out. She said,
was that the Anglia? Was that the Anglia?
Yeah, one of the blue one.
Uh-huh.
But she had got a 1100 Austin, so this one would park, and I just figured we could get her going again, you know. And my old lady told me, say, look, you take that car back. Because she didn't want to see it in the yard, my friend. You say, so I'm junk up in here already. So Mark took the car back to Miss Joyce, and I said, Miss Joyce, Mama said she really want a car again. She said, well, you didn't mention your mama just now. So I had to get me £3.10 back from her, and then I bought Low a pound car.
Okay.
He had an Angular man. But John was the main engineer on that bus.
Yeah.
I tell you. Nice to talk to you.
Sure. I enjoy talking to you. You know, the voice, I'm going to start calling you the voice of the Brack.
Okay,
or the second voice of the Brack, that will be after Miss Susan.
You got to be careful how you put
Yes,
that
yeah.
You got to be careful how you put that together.
All right, my friend, you take care. Enjoy the day.
Too,
please stay safe as well. Let's grab another caller. Sure. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Ossie. Good morning, boss. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. This is a local friend, man. I was driving garbage truck. I know you remember who that person is. I come to you the other day, too.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
Very good. I missed that today, but I know you do the rest also, too, but I love to sit down and listen to yourself and Doc.
Oh, yes. I enjoy having him on, definitely.
Yes, I know that. So see, we sit down and I learn from you and Doc on the radio about Cayman, and this is what happened in Cayman. Yourself and Doc bring a culture to all of us outside here. So we need to take time to listen to you two gentlemen to know what Cayman culture is like and the liberty where Cayman used to have before, you know? I remember the days that we only used to be afraid of toad and snake walk in your house. That's how we used to be afraid of our mosquitoes. Remember the days we could leave our house door open and go anywhere and come back.
True.
Anywhere and come back.
Yep.
Right? I remember when we driving garbage truck, we go work like 4 o'clock in the morning, and by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we're back home. You know? So remember the days, you know? But you have the good people outside there, you know. You have a good person outside there, and then from there you have a bad person. But sometimes we can't make a good person suffer for the bad one. No, we can't do that because we can't see inside a person, you know. But all I have to say, sometimes when I see the things turn that people will suffer, the good ones suffer for the bad one, you know.
So true.
That's very hard. Just like in my accident, and trust me, I didn't expect my accident to be like this, you know. Because I am home every day, can't do nothing, and I get a display of it, you know. I meet a terrible accident, they fire me in my hospital bed, and all of that. You don't fear. And I want the Cayman to listen on the radio and listen what happened 2 weeks Caymanian. And sometimes we Caymanian throw away we own Caymanian for other person. We can't go to another country and be getting superintendent of police, sergeant of police, chief in a society. We can't go to another country to get that. But you have other people comes in and over you in your own country, in your own house, you know, in your own yard. It's not supposed to happen like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And right now, I feel, and I guess that may be listening also too, that yourself and that, the gentleman did a wonderful job there. And I'm pray to God to lift you guys, giving you guys more health and strength, you know, and more thinking how the life of our nation in Cayman Islands.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You have a great day. Please stay safe and hope you make a full recovery as well. Ms. Susan, we have enough time to grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
No, you don't have enough time for me, OC.
We will make time for you. We have at least 6 minutes.
Yes, that last caller there, I just want to say to him, you know, sorry what happened to him, but we call that Caymankind. He always put other people over us.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what I call about. OC, good morning. I don't know if I need to change my my accent or change my perfume. And but I've been having these dizziness now for a while, and it interferes with my vision and everything. And I went got my eyes checked, and my eyes is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up to the hospital last week, went and sat there for 2 hours, and told them my situation. And I had made an appointment with an ENT like a week and a half ago, and I can't see him until the 14th of this month. And I have no medication whatsoever to help me with this dizziness. And believe me, it's not a good feeling. Some mornings I can't even go to work. It's so bad.
Mm-hmm. And they weren't able to refer you to a private practitioner.
No,
since you had to wait until then?
I have to wait until then. They told me that when I spoke to the doctor that Wednesday, I must keep that appointment that I have. But it's on the 14th. Mm-hmm. And I am suffering. And to think that the majority of these outside private offices, the majority of them came from Georgetown Hospital. So I don't know what it is and when it's going to take for government to make that clinical card universal, because then people who got this clinical card and got to go to Georgetown Hospital, we got to wait months before we can get an appointment to see the dentist, gynecologist, or this or that, whatever the case may be. You go to emergency, you still got to get wait to see an ENT or somebody in that category. You understand?
Mm-hmm,
I don't think that we moving fast enough to try to save lives at the Greek. Or see, right now I'm punishing, and I have no medication. My next door neighbor mixed up some stuff for me and told me to pour it on a towel and lay it across my forehead. And I drink the seasick pill. I can't call the name of it right now. And take that off and on. I went to the pharmacy down by Foster's. They told me they can't give me anything. I have to wait until I see my ENT. I mean, I have a job to go to. 6 o'clock in the morning, the traffic is crazy. People driving crazy. I'm dizzy. My eyes is blurry on me. Like I said, I had my eyes just tested about 3 weeks ago, and my eyes is great. Actually, I was supposed to have a cataract removal, but we had to postpone that, not because of the dizziness. But I'm just saying, we need to make this clinical card universal. And who takes it is like an 80-20,
mm-hmm.
or a 75-25 of the payment to the insurance and to the doctor.
So tell me how it works now. If you went to a private practitioner, they're not in a position to accept your cynical card. It has to be only the Health Services Authority.
Yes, only health HSA. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Unless you're referred by them.
Now,
okay.
If you get a referral out now, they will send you elsewhere. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But I just had to call this morning because it's not a good feeling living by yourself, and when you.
But also drive what you've explained to me, and I'm not sure whether or not driving is advisable under those conditions.
It is not that I some mornings I can't even go to work. I have to end up going in the afternoon. Yeah, you know, so it's affecting my driving. And I'm just going to school and back. And I have to wait until the 14th before I can see an ENT down Smith Road. It's not fair. It's not right. So I just want to tell all those out there who go to get that great service, I take my hat off to them. But me, that need to have changed my accent or my perfume, I got to wait until the 14th to see what I am so dizzy and what is causing it.
Now, if you went to emergency, would they be able to, a doctor in emergency, accident and emergency unit, be able to refer you to outside doctor if you explain to them, you know, how serious you feel, how badly you feel? Would they be in a position to refer you without you having to see your primary care physician?
I don't know. When I went to the GP and was talking to my doctor there and tell them, you thought they would say, well, go to emergency and they can get you a referral like immediately or within 72 hours or 48 hours, whatever the case may be. But I was told just keep the appointment to the 14th, and you know. I
would definitely find another way to get to that. To get to a private doctor, to at least get a second opinion, and to get rather than having to wait another 10 days before you see someone, I would find a way. I would find a way.
Right now, I'm sitting down here talking to you, and everything in front of me is blurry, and the dizziness just keeps going and coming. When it comes in a full burst, you can't move out of the spot, and you got to lay down flat on your back. And what happened was, I even went and read up on dizziness, and let me tell you something. I even sorry that I read it because it has so many. It can be caused by so many things, and it had my anxiety rising even higher. You understand?
Yep.
But anyhow, I just want to say that we got this something with the cynical insurance. Like Mr. Minister, some time ago, it needs to be universal. I'm a government staff.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that we should be top priority, but we got to be something.
Yes.
We can't be nothing all the time. We got to be something.
So true. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Stay safe, and I hope you feel much better as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. We do have a couple of callers queued up. As soon as we return, we will take those calls, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
JN Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Attention parents and guardians. Any child who is 5 years old by 31st August must be enrolled in an approved educational program, including government, private, or homeschooling program. Registration for the 2022-23 academic year begins on 1st April. Applications received before 1st April will not be considered. Detailed students' registration guidelines and forms are available on the Department of Education Services website at www.schools.edu.ky or by emailing edu.registration@gov.ky.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Ossie.
Hey, good morning.
This number here. Well, you are lonely today. Where's Dr. Steve?
Well, today is normally government department days, either ministries or departments. And it looks like there may have been a little cross up as far as the scheduling is concerned. I'm still hoping that maybe we'll have someone in at 9 o'clock. If not, we will continue the conversation. I'm always prepared in the event that, a guest doesn't show up or there may be some conflict as far as scheduling is concerned as well. So otherwise, if I had known in advance, of course, if Doc were available, I certainly would have had him on, but I didn't know about this. Yeah.
Well,
but my guess, my listening audience, we heard the voice of the BRAC come in. Now we're getting the voice of Canada, Cayman via Canada as well. So.
Well, one thing I know is that your audience, including myself, will never leave you hanging.
That's right. That is right.
And in any case, you know how to handle yourself. You always have things to discuss.
Yes.
Now, also last week I made a statement to say that I didn't have confidence in the government or the opposition to resolve certain issues, and that there's need to get people in government who resolve certain matters, particularly the work permit issues, PR issues, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember a few weeks ago you mentioned something about. It's not new in Cayman, which was that, you see, there was a suggestion to say that if you want to, like PR grants, they should correlate in a certain way to the birth rate. In other words, the PR grants must not outstrip the birth rate. You mentioned that last week. I know it's not new, but I wonder why that hasn't been taken up, because to me, if you are talking about reversing certain trends to ensure that Caymanians don't become extinct eventually, that certainly is something that can be done. And what I can add to it is that if that were to be done, even as if it couldn't be done by amendment to a law, they could do it even by an administrative policy. I doubt that if anybody challenged that and went to court by Bureau of Judicial Review, I suspect that they would not succeed. In other words, it would be a rational and proportionate way for government to deal with a genuine concern among locals. So yes. I'm not quite sure why successive governments haven't looked at that. But another thing that could be added to that, in addition to some other matters, is I've discussed this with a number of people in Cayman about the possibility of recalling members of parliament. You see, I really have lost faith in the fact that Cayman has an accountable government. I don't think it is. So you need to tighten it a little bit further. I think that if MPs could be recalled mid-term, if it is found, for example, they've done something drastic, I think there will be greater control over what they can do.
Now, when you say something drastic, can you give some examples? Because you wouldn't want to have a situation where they could be. You would have to set a high bar for a recall, I believe.
Yes, well, you are 100% right about that, because you can't do it in such a way as to contribute to unstable government. You don't want that.
Yes.
Because there are people who just come out there, we don't like him, recall him. If it's too easy, then the government becomes unstable, and with all the implications for tourism and financial service and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to be able to create, like what they have in the Constitution at the moment, like on... the people's initiated referendum, like about 25% of the voters. That was actually so difficult. I remember the past premier one time saying that he never thought they would meet it. Why? Because he knew it was a bit of a challenge.
Yes.
But because of how well organized they were, how resolute they were, and the support for what they were doing, it was done. And I really admire the people who did that. So that has to be taken into account, but I think there should be a possibility of recalling people if they don't act in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And Kemani, it's easy to do without making it too easy. In other words, because the constituencies, they range from a few north side, east end, I think range from like a few hundred, like the voters, to maybe about 1,600, the larger constituencies. I don't think any constituency has got registered voters more than 2,000. I don't know. It might be. But anyway, yeah, exactly. So that's the range. You used to be in elections, so you know this. So if that could be done, I think that it will help people the people who are elected to really be able to think more about what happens. Because 4 years, to me, usually you find by the time you are ready to elect somebody, the harm has been done, and then the new people come in, they sweeten you up for 6 months, and then after that they forget you for 2 years, and then again sweeten you 6 months before the election, and meanwhile no fundamental change is being done. I think really that is something that should be tried together with some of the other suggestions that you've made.
But Billy,
people are hurting in Cayman.
Yeah, Billy, what about the huge elephant in the room? Advisory district councils. We still have not had any effective advisory district council. We haven't had any amendments to the law. No changes whatsoever. Every politician who is elected, I believe that their mindset is, and we know that some in the past have voiced this sentiment, that they have been elected by the people. They don't want anyone else telling them, what they should and what they shouldn't do. So they have basically sat on their hands and done nothing about advisory district councils, because if we had those, then at least there is that conduit for suggestions to be made to a politician so that they can at least get some guidance from their constituents. But it is completely missing, and we still have heard absolutely nothing about it.
And also that's a very important topic, because it comes in within the same point I've been trying to make about accountable government, because Cayman is so small, those advisory district councils can be really effective in the sense that it's not like other places where sometimes you will never even meet your MP. If you live in a constituency, I'm quite sure at some point you meet your MP. Now, you and I, Dr. Steve and so on, worked on that thing together with Mr. Bush, and I thought it was a very good thing. But you see, the problem is, I'll tell you the attitude which I found in government about that. Well, first of all, just to agree with what you've said, consultation is part of representative government. In larger democracies, in fact, they complain that people don't really know their MPs. And here is a smaller jurisdiction where you've got this good infrastructure of the district council, and they don't want to use it. And nobody is saying that those councils are going to dictate to the MPs. They are advisory district councils, but both by name and then by what they are called. But I'll tell you where that comes from. That comes from a certain lack of respect for representative government. And I'll tell you one thing that I found in government, for example. Every time when I was writing legislation, And if I would say, well, such and such a head of department may recommend to cabinet X, and then cabinet may decide at ABC. Some cabinet members didn't want even a provision which merely says that somebody may recommend to cabinet. And they use the same argument. They say, no, but you see, we are the ones under the Constitution who should make a decision. And the argument I always made was, no, that doesn't take away your power. It is just that you want to give somebody a participatory role to be able to recommend something. But it is because, in my view, they don't want people to recommend particular things, because they know that if they are recommended and then they refuse, then they are going to be rightly accused of failing to do what the people want. So the best way to do that is never to have that mechanism. But I think it must be fought for. It is very important, and I think in the Cayman Islands it should be able to work very well, because it is a small jurisdiction.
Definitely. Billy, thank you very much. Have a great day. Please stay safe, and good hearing from you, and look forward to hearing from you some more as well. We're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Something big is coming to Radio Cayman.
Have you heard? Well, what is it?
For 3 days only, April 5th to 7th.
I know what it is, but I can't tell you. Ma, you don't know? How you know?
You don't want to miss this.
Well, hurry up and tell us now.
Radio Cayman is offering something big for all our advertisers. Contact RC Sales at gov.ky or get in touch with your account executive to learn more.
So you're really not going to tell us?
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio yet. We'll see what transpires later on. Any callers on hold, Ms. Susan? No callers on hold. So, again, you heard the repeat on headline news. At the 8 o'clock news, and we heard it at the 7 o'clock news about the acting port director appointed. And we like to big up our Caymanians, as well. So I'm going to repeat it one more time, that the appointment of Mr. Dale Christian to the post of acting port director for the Cayman Islands with effect from the 1st of April 2022. They haven't said, or at least in that paragraph, it doesn't say how long he will act for. It goes on to say that Mr. Christian brings a wealth of experience to the role, having worked at the Port Authority for almost 3 decades with over 10 years of service as manager of the Cayman Brac Port. Goes on to say that during his career, Mr. Christian has served as a former sea captain and police officer in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. He has been recognized in the Heroes Day Awards for both his outstanding contribution to seafaring and uniformed service. He currently sits on the Sister Islands Emergency Committee. And it says here that commenting on the appointment, Mr. Klein Glidden Jr., chairman of Port Authority of the Cayman Islands Board of Directors, welcomed Mr. Christian to the role. He is quoted as saying, "I appreciate the board's decision to offer me this temporary position, and I look forward to continuing to serve the people of the Cayman Islands in this capacity." That's a quote by Mr. Christian. Ministry of Tourism and Transport said that the Port Authority of the Cayman Islands Board of Directors would like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Elizabeth Macfield for her stewardship during her tenure as the acting port director as well. So again, we want to say congratulations to Mr. Christian. We hope that you get the support at the port from all of your staff members for whatever period of time that you are there. And while, folks, we may have our differences of opinion, our differences in terms of the way things are being done, when we have our own in these positions, we must support them to the fullest. If you feel for some reason that you can't support them, then do not do anything that would in any way impede their ability to perform well in whatever capacity that they're in. It's like they say, if you don't have something good to say about someone, don't say anything. Well, if you can't do good towards that person, then don't do anything at all as well. But we need to throw our support behind those Caymanians that have been elevated to these positions as well. That is extremely, extremely important. What I wanted to share with you also, before we get into calls, I was going to go back to our Tradewinds newspaper, and there was an article in there that talks about, there was a column carried in the Tradewinds newspaper, and it was called Candid Commentary. I know you've heard about Candid Camera before, but this was a play with words, and it was called Candid Commentary, and it was spelled Kandid. So we didn't have didn't use the C there, and commentary with a K. And it talks about, it says, folks, this is in 1966. So, we're looking at the Cayman Islands of 1966. It says, our tourist industry is not helped by complaints regarding entry procedures at the airport, but also they are clearly justified. The writer says that he was talking to two first-time visitors to the island a few days before, and they were so depressed with their quote-unquote welcome that they seriously thought of leaving, but how now happily settled in. First off the plane and last through the custom takes some explaining. And how about that parking at the airport? The excuse is a shortage of police, yet no less than 3 policemen were checking parking near Wilco's store the other day. Now, if you know where Wilco's store is, it eventually became Comart, but not on the corner by the post office. This was on the corner of what is now Seafarers Way and Edward Avenue. So that's where Wilco's store. So the person who's writing the article is saying we had 3 policemen checking the parking on near Wilco's, and no one is controlling the parking at the airport. At least in 1966, we had police officers who were enforcing parking laws and parking regulations. These days, you see on social media folks sending you photographs of drivers parking in the disabled drivers' parking spaces and all of those things. No control, nothing but mayhem and lawlessness out there on the roads of the Cayman Islands. So this candid commentary goes on to say, talking of politics, I watched a policeman from Breakers driving a Ford Anglia. Heard me and Lennox talking about the Anglia before. The property of a police sergeant. The exhaust was reminiscent of a racetrack. The same sort of driving when the same constable was testing a new Austin. Peak engine revolutions in low gear do not prolong the life of the car and are totally unnecessary. What a despicable action on the part of those hooligans who short-circuited the lights at Inferno Club when the management had gone to heavy expense to bring Byron Lee, that's Byron Lee and the Dragonaires, for everyone's enjoyment. Sounds like the vandals who interfered with boats recently, and I believe that was a time when there was a sinking of one of the tourists, one of the boats that were used to transport tourists. You say it would be nice if hotel managers would look to the dress of some of their guests in the evening. Folks, again, remember, this is 1966. I hear many complaints from visitors and others who find themselves sitting next to the large, bare, and often hairy torsos. Bet the offenders wouldn't do that in their old hometown. Just exactly what is the reason for the foxholes verging in the main road opposite Kirk Plaza? They get deeper every day, expecting an invasion. Those would the foxholes that we were talking about, potholes, because most of the roads at that time, they were marl roads. They were not necessarily paved or what we would call blacktop, but when they were blacktop, it was put over marl as well, and that did a lot. And then it goes on to say, that was a thrill on Saturday to see the first jet arrive here, a Jetstar from Houston, and later made a spectacular takeoff. So in 1966, that was when I think the runway had been completed at that point in time. We have some callers on hold. We're going to grab the callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. I want to say good morning and happy Monday to you.
Thank you.
Have a fantastic week. I have two little things to discuss, but if it gets long, I'll hold on and after this break. But I don't know. The first thing is parking in town. I'm not sure if the Georgetown Revitalization Committee is aware of it, but many people. My office is in town now, gladly, but anyway, many people are telling me that they're not coming into town because there's no parking, and I think it's something that must be addressed as a very urgent matter.
Mm-hmm.
That where the old tower building used to be down there by behind the Parliament building. I mean, there's talk about turning it into a green space, all kind of stuff. But I think, at the end of the day, we have one capital. It's Georgetown. And I think we should keep it a very vibrant capital. And in order to make it vibrant and keep the businesses there, people need to be able to come into town and easily find a place to park. And there's nowhere at all about parking. The second thing I want to...
But caller, I believe, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you're a strong advocate for public transport as well.
Yes,
aren't you?
I am.
Why don't we then use public transport? We park out on the outskirts of town and use public transport to get people into town, and then they can walk around from. I walk from the government administration building over to Mary Street at least once, sometimes 2 times a week, and back, rather than driving my vehicle over there. And if there was some public transport, I would probably just jump on to some shuttle and go over there as well. So
yes, I'm for that as well. In fact, I walk. My office in Cardinal Avenue. Whenever I have any work for anything to drop off at work, WORC, which I sort of frequent quite often, I walk, and it's good to get some vitamin D and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with you. But then where's the push? Where's the push about the public transport? I mean, it actually comes up once in a blue moon, as the old people would say, and then it dies down. The next thing that comes up once in a blue moon is effective. What you mentioned a while ago about the community, the politicians are sort of active committees. What
the advisory district committees?
Yes. Yeah. Where are those? Because every election, including this one, and every one of the incumbent ministers of government, in fact, I would say every one of the incumbent parliamentarians, all had it in their manifesto that in some shape or form that it was a necessity and a vital cog in keeping democracy vibrant is to have these advisory district councils. But why has it dropped off the map? The fact of the matter is, district advisory councils is where politicians are raised. That's where they're groomed. That's where the people representatives are groomed. That's where people can detect who is an effective representative to take the place of someone else. And perhaps the fear is that with an effective advisory district councils, people who are appointed to those will prove themselves to be much more effective than a substantive office holder, because it just drops off the map every time it is mentioned in campaigning, and it is a very important thing to have to make even the life of the politician much more easier, but also to have a much more representative feel throughout the district that he or she represents.
Yeah. Okay, caller, I'm going to interrupt you there. We have another few callers queued up, so I'm going to encourage you to call back rather than holding on, if you will, folks. Top of the hour headline news. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Police are investigating a fatal crash that claimed the lives of 2 people Sunday evening. A 32-year-old West Bay man and his 1-year-old daughter were killed in a single-car crash on West Church Street just after 7 p.m. Shocking images of civilian bodies in the streets of Bucha near Kyiv have led to an outpouring of international condemnation of Russia. The BBC has seen further evidence of civilian killings near Kyiv, a shallow grave where 4 people allegedly were shot dead by Russian forces. France's President Macron says there are clear indications Russian forces have committed war crimes. He calls for more sanctions targeting Russia oil and coal exports, but doesn't mention gas. Germany, which relies heavily on Russian gas, says it's, quote, working towards an embargo on Russian energy but won't act immediately. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson accused Russia of, quote, despicable attacks, while the White House called it a, quote, punch to the gut. Military expert Jack Watling tells the BBC, quote, this isn't a one-off atrocity. We are going to discover a significant number of acts like this. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio K-Man on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio K-Man app or log on to our website, radiokman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio K-Man.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're going straight to the phone lines as promised. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. A couple of weeks ago, the Cayman campus reported that the NCC, National Conservation Council, is taking the planning, I don't know if the department or the board, to court.
Yes.
To seek judicial review and whether or not I believe the NCC have the authority to instruct the planning department, planning board. That's akin to the government taking the government to court.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering two things. What is the role, what should have been the role of the ministers responsible for these two ministries? Because both of them going to have to be lawyered up.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to spend a significant amount of money defending both of their position.
Mm-hmm.
And the solution going to have to be back to the legislators.
Quite possibly, it may be back to the legislators, or the court's decision will weigh in favor of one as opposed to the other, and then maybe then if the legislators then see that it is necessary to change the legislation for it to be in accord with what they want the law to be, then yes, it could end up back with the legislature. But don't you think that is for a healthy democracy, that is something good that is happening, where you have two government departments that are at odds with each other, and rather, of course, they could compromise at the end of the day, but having the courts resolve it, you don't think that that's a good thing? Even though it may be costly, but freedom and justice is never cheap.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree. But I think before you reach that stage, the ministers in question should have met and resolved the situation before they go to court. Because the government taking the government to court, I find it a bit strange, and it seemed to suggest that either these departments acted outside the normal, what I would believe, process, because the ministers them should have been aware of this before it reached the court. And also, what happened to DPP, more specifically the Attorney General? Did he render an opinion? Did that opinion was taken into consideration? There seem to be two steps missing before it reached the court.
But remember now, this is because of an application that was made to a government department. So I think from an overt standpoint, it is very difficult for a minister to intervene. Now, they may say, listen, both of you need to get your act together. But remember now, there's a third party that is involved in this who will is also or maybe an aggrieved party as well. Mm-hmm. So we can't ignore the fact.
My understanding of the matter is that the National Conservation Council is advising or instructing the planning board, planning department, or what have you, on a certain direction. Now, if that is the case, and the planning department is saying no, you're in an advisory position, and the planning department, planning board were to consult with them, which they did. They advise them, and they either take that advice or neglect that advice. Then I believe it is up to the ministers in question to give clarity to both departments' roles.
Okay.
And this is just my opinion. And before it reached the court, I felt that the Attorney General should have been involved in the process. I'm not saying that he wasn't, but I'm saying that he should have been involved, give an opinion, and before we go to spend, which I believe is going to be millions of dollars, the matter should have been resolved in-house. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's a good. It's a good point. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to find an article on Cayman News Service and share that with you and the public as well, so that it can basically it can refresh all of our memories in terms of what it's all about. So continue to listen. I'll find that article, and if time allows, I will definitely share it.
I still believe that. I don't know if it's too far gone now, but I still believe, because I am strongly of the belief that this matter have to be resolved legislatively. I still believe that the government should pull this case and resolve it in-house. I hate to see at this time where funds are so critical that we're going to be paying lawyers to go in court and fight this matter, when to my knowledge, it's going to have to come back to the legislator to give clarity to the matter.
Got you.
Thank you.
Got you. Thank you. Thank you very much as well. Good points raised by that caller as well. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, OC.
Hey, I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I just want to touch on one of my good friend, George called in and we're making mention of about creating new parking lot. I don't think that's wise, because I got my good friend Mark Scotland. I asked him off the top of my head to calculate the area, square footage of property in Georgetown where buildings actually sit, and then calculate the square footage of parking lots, totally parking lots in town, and let's see the difference. You got more places designed and reserved for cars than we got for actual buildings.
Yes.
Because as you know, your good district, Rockhole, have turned into a parking lot.
Yeah, but concrete jungle.
Right. So I like when you made reference to him about him batting for
public transport.
Yeah. So that was a good throwback there at him. Rebut. I like how you rebut that. So I think we should go in that direction. Like you say, either if we're not going to limit the cars and get in the ground, if we're not going to limit the cars, then we need to set up a parking outside and shuttle people in, because we cannot continuously building parking lots. Just for a car. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Yep, you're absolutely absolutely right. What about? I know you're strong. Have strong views as far as employment in the Cayman Islands and the granting of permanent residence and Caymanian status. And sometimes I'll say this reservedly, that sometimes you have some extreme views in terms of how we address it. But give us one of your not too extreme positions as far as how do we address this whole issue of permanent residence and Caymanian status, and when we possibly could end up in a situation where we have more Caymanian status is granted administratively than we have actual natural-born Caymanians into our population.
I'll say my opinion on that is that I came from 1796, John Jarrett Conley in East End. That gives me the rights to call myself Caymanian. But that now has gone out the window. I now make reference to myself as Easterner, but not everybody can say they are an Easterner. That's what they forced me to do, because every soul now walk in the street, I hear people make reference, he Caymanian now, He Caymanian now, How you can be Caymanian now, I don't care where you come from or see you are from. You are that. If you come from Jamaica, you are a Jamaican. You cannot change that. Just like our people who went to the States and got papers, they are Caymanians. At the end of the day, when they return here, you cannot stop them because they are Caymanians. So how can you give somebody that title? I'm not saying they can't stay here and be here if they conduct themselves according to our laws, but they shall not be called Caymanian. We need to find another title, like how in the States they say they are green card holders or something of that sort. We need to find another title.
Or they refer to them as naturalized U.S. citizens too, yeah.
right? Like something of that sort. But you cannot be given the title of Caymanian because you are not. You are not Caymanian. Let's get that out there. You are not.
Got you.
All you out there that got some paper, you got a piece of paper from some elected member who pushed to get more voters registered, maybe, and call you, but you cannot call you Caymanian. We got to find another way.
Okay.
And the way people are obtaining it is wrong. About this point system and all this kind of thing, that is wrong. Or see, you cannot get somebody from one of the entities to write you a letter giving you points or bigging you up when you never even went near the place. And I know that happened. You cannot. The Kim and Brack man called me a boo-boo. I said, well, sir, I really don't know what that is. I heard about boo-boos being in Kim and Brack. He said, well, let me tell you something, Sonny. Any person who gives really but rights to somebody who walks a stray dog can only be a boo-boo. I told Dr. McPhee that, and he said, Lord Graham, the man is right.
All right, Lord Graham, I want to thank you. Thank you very much, for that little extra comment there as well. We have a few callers on hold. Quick commercial break. When we return, we will take those callers. So don't change that dial. Don't hang up that phone. As soon as we return, we will have a conversation with you.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
JN Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have callers on hold, so as promised, going straight to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, my friend. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. Good to hear your voice again.
Thank you too. What about my other friend, Dr. Steve?
Well, he was on with me on Friday. We had some changes as far as scheduling is concerned today, but I didn't realize that until early this morning. So as a result of that, I didn't have sufficient time to get him on with me.
Okay, probably be on Wednesday then.
If not Wednesday, definitely Friday.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the point. The last caller, I think he's a man of my own mind. Then secondly, you were referring earlier about some friction between the planning and the conservation authorities.
Yes, the Department of Environment and versus the Central Planning Authority.
Okay. Now, this is where I want to come again strongly. If we had district councils, a lot of this would and could have been avoided. Okay, not to say that everything's going to flow smoothly, but if you look at it, making a long story short, in the Cayman Islands, things are definitely out of control, my friend. It's out of control. And when you look around and see what's happening with the people that are coming in here, they have no respect for the Cayman Islands or the Caymanian people. Who are you going to go to? We've been pleading for the authorities to come on board. Let's talk about a district council. The big deal was that after the election, you couldn't even think about it before 18 months. Listen, that 18 months will go to 36 months, and then it will go to 48 months, 47 months, and then they're going to take the council, like the West Bay District Council, and use it for a convenience like before, for political support. But this thing, my friend, is heading up to is a definitely bad situation that we're facing. You know, you talk to people, they don't want to hear nothing about it, right? They think that, I will speak boldly right now. A lot of things, many things in this island right now, the general public raises a brow and say, what's happening? Talking to me and talking to others, but this is not the answer. We have to be man enough, smart enough to call the politicians and say, look, this is not good enough for us. This was not what we put you in the house for. You need to give us some support, and by all means, may I say it right now, if nothing happens shortly, I think we're going to make an appointment with the governor in consultation about this district council, because the Constitution calls for that, and there's no reason why that they have to put this into the dry weather section of the storeroom and forget about it. So something has to give shortly, because, see, when you look around, people using this island, they're dumping the garbage all over the place. The trucks are not even properly secured with rubbish and sand and other things. It's blowing right on top of your windshield. They throw their containers after they eat the food, just throw it on the side of the road. Come on. Is this the best we can do? Look at the amount of cars that's just on the side of the road. That this is becoming like a gigantic dumping ground, man. Is this what our island is about? And who can go to what's happening? This is Ormond saying this. I don't care who cares and who don't care. Something has to be done.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll get on to that. I'll wait till probably Friday with Dr. Steve, and hopefully we'll say a little more, okay?
Yep, and he's a strong proponent of the implementation of and the use of the advisory district councils as well. Yeah.
That gentleman should have a top position in forming this district council, because he knows the inside outside, and this is why we need to have people like him in key positions in this island.
Yep. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, caller, for that. One of our listeners said, that caller that mentioned the advisory district councils need, who advised that they need to be implemented, is 100% right. He says, what is the government afraid of? Thank you. Well, I would say it is not only the government, I think it is the legislature in general, because it needs to be pushed by all politicians. While, yes, it is the government's responsibility to ensure that the law is implemented, and if there are any necessary amendments to that legislation, to bring them to the Parliament. But all parliamentarians must shoulder the responsibility for this one, and they should all be made accountable, and they should all have to say why they support or do not support advisory district councils, because they keep talking about participatory democracy, about people being involved in the process. And yes, they appoint us to boards and seek advice in other areas. But what about all of those other persons out there? They have a voice as well, and should their voice only be heard through a talk show, or should they be in a position where they can meet in their district, they can discuss issues, they can either nominate or even elect persons to be on those advisory district councils as well? Why isn't it happening? 2009, the Constitution came into effect in the Cayman Islands. We had legislation in place. It wasn't good enough for some. And now, what do we have? Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, well, it's me again. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I want to agree with my good old friend, Nick Graham. He don't call me no more, but I still listen to him. He prejudiced, you know. He prejudiced with me. But anyhow, OC, I agree with him 100%. OC, I need to say this. When you're talking about everybody coming here, getting people to the Caymanians, but I can define Caymanian this morning. If you're not a Mosquito Caymanian, you're not a Caymanian. People, I have traveled other parts of the world, many places of the world, and saw other nationalities working in hotels and in restaurants, and they have their pins on. And you know what the pins say? My name is so-and-so, and I'm from so. In other words, they are telling you where they are originally from. You come here, you get your papers. United States, when you go United States, you get a green card. You got a green card, but you're not an American. You get the same rights as the American.
In some rights, not all. No, yeah. Well, some.
Because you're not born there.
Yeah.
This is biblical. Wherever you're born, that is where you're from. But this morning, if you're not come through the process of the mosquitoes times, in the tick times, in the hot weather times, you're not a Caymanian. And I hate to hear that. I want to hear I am a resident, I'm a citizen here, but not a Caymanian. And that is our problem. Everybody's Caymanian. I understand they got people on tour buses telling people all kind of stupidness about the history of Cayman Island. I remember me, George Gillette, going with a rake down 7 Mile Beach underneath the weeping willow trees them years ago. Where these people was from, where these people that come here from can tell you the history of Cayman. Huh? Because even if you go online, everything about the Cayman Islands history online, you know. I remember going with a machete in rake Easter time, putting the eggs Easter time down in the sun, hiding them, and waiting for our parents to come. You went through that too, see? Them days,
yes,
it was no 7 Mile Beach, lone weeping willow trees, and who went the first in the morning, they get their spot. Huh? And now everybody coming now saying that they came on yet. No, you can't go nowhere else and say that you're from there if you're not born there. So I don't want to hear that. But if you're not, this morning, the real Mosquito Caymanians, you know who you are. Thank you very much.
Okay. Caller, thank you very much for that as well. One more caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning, O.C.
Hey, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Not bad. How about yourself?
Right here, hanging in.
Good. Just wanted to comment briefly on Sir Graham's comment. O.C., is Cayman a crown colony, or is it the UK?
It's a crown colony. It's a colony of the United Kingdom. Some will argue that we are part of the United Kingdom because we now are able to get, to hold a British passport. So if that makes us a part of, makes us British, then I don't know. Because on the other end, we're arguing that, if you're not a natural-born Caymanian, even if you get Caymanian status, no matter, how many pieces of paper that you get, you still, at the end of the day, not a true Caymanian. So I would argue that we will never be true British, but I can tell you we are still a colony of the United Kingdom, even though some people don't like to use that terminology. But, what they say, a rose by any other name is still the same.
Well, there was a reason for all of that, because, we had people back then that, had their shoulders on their head, that had, and a lot of times had on their thinking cap. And they knew that they could not make the Cayman Islands carry the same title as the UK. So they had to come up with some other name. And to my point, what I totally agree with what Graham is saying. Why should you have the same title as I have, and you can come from any part of the world? It doesn't matter. We could live in England for 1,000,000 years, just like Graham said, but we still will never be an Englishman or an Englishwoman. We will be Caymanian. So, if our politicians for the last 60, 70 years go back, had their thinking cap on, this is one of the issues that should have been addressed, and realized that, they cannot carry the same title as a true-blooded, born indigenous Caymanian. And I don't have any prejudicial issues. I don't have none of that rubbish that people might want to say, well, he's prejudiced, he's this, he's that. No. I am nothing like that. I just want what is ours, because we earned it. And if you born here, you earned it. If you were born somewhere else, you earned that to carry that title. Don't come here to my country and you go throw it in my face. I'm a Caymanian. No. I'm a green card holder, or by some other means or ways. So that's my take on it, OC. So thanks for listening, and have a good one. All right?
Thank you very much, my friend. You take care. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. We still have a few callers on hold. We will take those calls as soon as we return. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Something big is coming to Radio Cayman.
Have you heard? Well, what is it?
For 3 days only, April 5th to 7th.
I know what it is, but I can't tell you. Ma, you don't know? How you know?
You don't want to miss this.
Well, hurry up and tell us now.
Radio Cayman is offering something big for all our advertisers. Contact RC Sales at gov.ky or get in touch with your account executive to learn more.
So you're really not going to tell us?
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. No callers at the moment, Miss Susan. Okay, so one of our callers spoke about the legal battle between the Department of Environment and the Central Planning Authority, and expressed their views that it's something that they felt should be handled internally, within government. A minister should intervene, but there is also a third party to this as well, and that person would then become an aggrieved party, and I no doubt would then, if whatever decision would have been agreed upon by the two parties, if it was not in the favor of the applicant, then they would seek legal, I would imagine they would seek legal redress as well. So the Cayman News Service article, and this is dated the 25th of March 2022, DOE v. CPA legal battle confirmed for June. And it says the unprecedented forthcoming legal battle, and they use the word unprecedented, which the caller, pointed out as well. It's, unusual for that to take place. Unprecedented forthcoming legal battle between two public sector entities, effectively setting government against government, has been listed to be heard in June. It goes on to say that the Department of Environment and the National Conservation Council have requested a judicial review of a Central Planning Authority decision that ignored a legal directive not to grant planning permission. So it is a judicial review application that was successful, and it will be heard. Now, what a judicial review, in my layman's understanding of it is challenging the process that took place and whether or not that was right in law. And a judicial review will make a determination as to whether or not that process was proper. So at the end of the day, you're not going to get a decision from the judicial review that says this is what should be done with the application. You're not going to get a formal yes or no as to the application that was made to the CPA, but what the judicial review process will tell you is whether or not the process that was engaged, whether or not that was a legal process. So goes on to say that the CPA's decision to allow the demolition and rebuilding of a cabana on Bogasan Beach also flies in the face of the PACT government's stated policies. The DOE had issued a directive to the CPA on behalf of the National Conservation Council using the National Conservation Law not to grant planning permission for the application since the site has a long-running and problematic history. The current structure is failing because it was built too far. It was built far too close to the ocean. When the owners, Cayman Property Investment Limited, sought permission to demolish the existing single-story concrete cabana and seawall and erect a new two-story beach structure, the DOE issued an order directing the CPA to deny the application, but the board ignored the order, claiming it was not lawful, that the order was not a lawful order. The CPA waived the required high water mark setback of 75 feet, as the structure is now effectively in the sea for most of the year, allowing what is clearly an unsustainable project to go ahead despite the government's policy of sustainable development. The DOE will be arguing in court that the directive they issued is lawful. However, the controversy over this situation goes deeper than the legal dispute, as it highlights an evident policy difference between Premier Wayne Panton's Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resilience and the Ministry of Planning held by J. Ebanks. Over the course of the current PACT administration's 12 months in office, the conflicts between the Planning Ministry and the Climate Ministry have become increasingly apparent. This particular case illustrates an impasse over what should have been an easy decision for the government to resolve, given that the Central Planning Authority is a politically appointed body that is required to follow cabinet policy as well as the law. If the CPA had refused the application based on the planning law and requirements for a high water mark setback, the developer could have challenged the decision through the Planning Appeals Tribunal. However, the CPA chose to waive that requirement and undermine the government's policy, making this a very unusual case. Goes on to say that during an NCC meeting on Wednesday, DOE Director Gina Ebanks-Petrie confirmed that the June date had been set for the case. Also discussed at the NCC meeting was the culling of feral cats on Little Cayman by the DOE. I won't get into that part of it. But folks, there is one entity that is named in this whole issue as well, and that would be the owner of that cabana and that property, Cayman Property Investment Limited. Now, if the scientific advice, folks, is that cabana should not be where it is, even though it may have been approved for that before, or maybe climate change has already started to rear its head, and the deem themselves to be good corporate citizens, protectors of our environment, protectors of our coastline. Why don't they do the right thing and withdraw their application, demolish the cabana, and let the water flow freely where it should be flowing? Why do all of this at the expense of our coastline? For what purpose? So that you can sit and have cocktails and entertain on the edge of the water? Many of you came to the Cayman Islands. Some of you never saw salt water before you reached here. You were fortunate to buy property on our beaches, but you failed to follow the instructions and the advice of the local people about building too close to the sea line. I would say Cayman Property Investment Limited, do the right thing and withdraw your application, demolish the cabana, and let the water flow freely where it should be. Let's grab a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
It's a pleasant good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
I would like to comment a little bit on your last two callers who call about Cayman and status. Okay, I have an expatriate who had been conferred with Caymanian status.
Okay. Congrats.
Thank you, sir. Let me be quick to say, I really, really, really admire the way that, those diehard Caymanians who really look out for their country. I really do. And that's one of the main reasons why I was interested in the Cayman Islands in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So I do appreciate that. However, I have to disagree with the point that the gentleman brought forward as it relates to the strength of the rights conferred to expatriates. Let me take it from the standpoint of if you believe in God or if they believe in God. I'm addressing them, really.
Mm-hmm.
We are born in sin, and we are not by inheritance rightfully to be in heaven. However, because of what Jesus Christ did, if we accept him, we are now conferred with heaven's citizenship. And the Word of God says, if the Son has set you free, you're free indeed. So therefore, all the sins that we had done prior cannot be mentioned to us anymore. So when we reach heaven, the angels cannot say, stay over this corner because you were not here.
Uh-huh.
You were not born here and you had at one time been a sinful creature. They cannot say that.
Mm-hmm.
As if we had never ever sinned, as if we were originally birthed in heaven. So by the same token, whilst it would be wrong for any one of us to give anyone the impression that we were actually born here, because that is not true, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality of it is, once a person in any country is conferred with the rights to be a citizen of that country, that person has equal rights with the person who was born there.
Under law, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We can't deny that.
Exactly. And this is what I say to any Caymanian who come at me in that manner. I said, you say I'm a paper Caymanian, yes, but you are too. Don't you have a birth certificate?
Mm-hmm. But you do understand the concern that people have when you were born in a country, especially a small country, and you're accustomed to a way of life, and you see that way of life starting to be eroded. You used the analogy, in terms of Christianity. I'll use the analogy in terms of you in your household, and you see your household starting to change and strangers starting to come in and to take over and to enjoy your house more than you are enjoying it. Wouldn't you feel that as well?
Yeah, that's why I said in my opening statement that I really, really admire
mm-hmm.
the way that the diehard Caymanians would really protect their culture and all of that. I really do.
Sure.
And I'm in 100% agreement
mm-hmm.
that, if people come in and they were conferred with Caymanian status and they begin to discriminate against the indigenous Caymanians and look down on them, and it's like they want to overflow them, by all means, as a matter of fact, I would even stand up with the indigenous Caymanians and help to defend the culture and all of that.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. But all I'm simply saying is, for a Caymanian to say just because we were never born here,
mm-hmm.
they do not want to recognize what the law says, that we have equal rights having been conferred with Caymanian status. That is what I disagree with.
Okay. Thank you. Got you. And you have a good point. Thank you very much for that caller. We have to take a commercial break. We're going to be on the last leg of the show when we return. We just still have a few callers on hold, a few WhatsApp messages as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. And anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacist will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners, now using the most popular and eco-friendly cleaning solvents. 2 convenient locations to serve you: Savannah Countryside and Eastern Avenue, Georgetown. Drive-through, rain or shine, free pickup and delivery services available. Call Puritan Cleaners, 949-7104. Also ask about our in-house discounts. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
The Department of Environmental Health would like to remind the public that applications for bonfire permits are to be submitted to the Secretary of the Public Lands Commission via email at plc@gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're in the last segment of the show this morning, and I want to thank everyone who participated so far. You've kept the conversations going, some interesting things that we're talking about as well, and you also get an opportunity to express your views, and we hope and we trust that you will have that opportunity extended even further by fully implementing the Advisory District Council legislation in the Cayman Islands so that the voters of the Cayman Islands can have a voice, not just on election day, but they can have a voice throughout the 4-year currency of any administration. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. It's the first time actually calling your program here.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. I hope it won't be the last.
Well, I trust. Mr. Connor, actually, I'm directing this to my pastor just now, whoever he is. Mr. Pastor, I am a Caymanian, and I would love to be differentiated from a paper Caymanian. When I'm born here, I am different from you, regardless of how you feel. And I think that us Caymanians has sat down too long now and pretended that this was not going to affect us. We are now becoming less than Caymanians because of you all. Mr. Pastor, do not take this and turn it into anything biblical. It is not. It is that a Caymanian is a Caymanian. If wherever you come from, that's who you are. Don't forget that. Thank you, Mr. Connor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Ms. Susan, we're going to close the phone lines off now because one of the things that I want to explain, and we spoke on Friday, last week, about the passing of the Mr. Benson Ebanks, an icon, a political icon in the Cayman Islands. We spoke about the fact that he shepherded in 1971 the Caymanian Protection Law, which came into effect on the 27th of March 1972. Caymanian Protection Law was a piece of legislation that was designed very closely to the Bermudan Protection Act that they had in place. So there you had a small British colony implementing legislation to protect Bermudans. Their intention at that point in time may have been slightly different because Bermuda has a very sordid racial history as well, much more overt than it was here in the Cayman Islands. Bermuda was almost like some southern states in the United States where there was racial segregation. And, one of their famous boycotts was the theater boycott, because you had, theaters where only blacks could attend and only whites could attend. It was segregated as well. So their Bermudan protection law was the objects and reasons for that may have been slightly different. Ours here in the Cayman Islands was that in the 1970s, we started to see development taking place in the Cayman Islands. A lot had to do with what occurred in the Bahamas and everywhere else. And our politicians at the time saw exactly what was going to be happening in the Cayman Islands. So that piece of legislation was shepherded by the late Mr. Benson Ebanks in our legislature, and it passed overwhelmingly, even though, despite the fact that, there was some back and forth between the late Mr. Benson and Mr. Truman Borden in those debates. And again, I encourage you, if you want to know about your history and you want, we talk about protecting Caymanians and bring back the old Caymanian protection law, then go to the archives, go to the Hansards at the Legislative Assembly online and read those debates in there and see exactly what took place. But we foresaw what was going to occur. We had another traumatic event in the Cayman Islands in 2003 when we granted over 2,400, I believe it was, Caymanian status grants. Yes, some to deserving people, some people who had been left out, who had Caymanian roots, and legislation didn't allow for them to obtain Caymanian status. But if many of you recall, the long lines in the crowds in front of the old glass house, as well as the long lines queuing up at the police station to get police records, not to mention the corruption that took place in terms of money being handed out for people to be able to get Caymanian status as well. When you inject over 2,000 new citizens in your country in one full swoop, that is significant, folks. And I would say regrettably, we are now feeling the brunt of those 2,000 plus status grants. Now, you hear people talk about the fact that since they obtained their Caymanian status, that they find it more difficult to get jobs, and when they apply now, and the people know that they're Caymanian, they have a more difficult time getting jobs. And some of that may be anecdotal, and that may be true in some instances, as well. But not everyone is experiencing that. There are a lot who have benefited, and benefited greatly, from the grant of Caymanian status at the expense of natural-born Caymanians. We're not unique in the Cayman Islands when we make a distinction between a natural-born Caymanian and one who has been granted status through an administrative process. I lived in a foreign country, and I never one day felt or would have dreamt that I was an American in any shape or form. Never, ever. So while we appreciate those persons who have been granted Caymanian status without any connection to the Cayman Islands, having an affinity for the Cayman Islands, there are some out there, and some people, we have heard some callers mention it, it is not the same. You can't feel the same way. And you would have heard Mr. Art McLean, his phrase, you know her glory, but you don't know her story. And to know her story, folks, you have to live it. You have to live. You heard one caller talk about a mosquito Caymanian, having to beat the mosquitoes. Many of you complain now, and I do at times as well, when mosquitoes come out, and I voice my opinion about the spray planes and stuff like that, because we've become accustomed to now not having mosquitoes. But there were days when we all walked around with smoke pans. We had to have them around even our schools and stuff, for mosquitoes as well. So those of you who have adopted the Cayman Islands as your new home, we want to welcome you. We thank you. But at the same time, I think from a reality standpoint, while we all have red blood flowing through our veins, there's a distinct difference. Now, we have to learn to live together, work together, because at the end of the day, like one caller said, we are all Christ's children. We are all transiting this world to another world as well. So while there are differences, I believe that we want to place more focus on what we have in common as opposed to the differences that we have, because we all, at the end of the day, have to live on and exist on this planet. And we see what is happening in places like the Ukraine now, where you have cousin, uncle fighting against each other for what reason? We still don't have the answer to that as well. So we're here. We need to coexist. But a people, an ethnicity who feel that they're being overwhelmed, that they're being overcome in the only place that they know as home, you have to understand that. The only way to understand, you can only understand it if you feel it. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to castigate anyone, because I am a strong nationalist myself. But I do recognize that we all have to live together. And as long as we agree to do that, and to do that in harmony, then we can all exist. But we all need to love one another. We need to respect one another at the end of the day. And if that respect doesn't come, then you know what disrespect brings as well. Folks, I want to thank you, all of those who called in, those who sent messages. If I missed any, I apologize, and we will try to get them on the next rung as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers, paper Caymanian or natural-born Caymanian as well. There is always someone out there who is less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk today, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient.
You are listening